officers respond to the shooting, 14300 East Alameda Avenue.
The World Trade Center, tower number 1 is on fire. The whole outside of the building was just a huge explosion.
You're listening to Be the Hero podcast, brought to you by Heroes Behind the Line, where we break the stigma of silence around PTSD and mental health. Are you a first responder in need, or just want to talk? Send us a message on Facebook, Heroes Behind the Line, or Be the Hero podcast, and welcome to the show.
Good afternoon, after night, whatever it is when you're listening to us right now. This is Travis, your director at Heroes Behind the Line, and we're here on Be the Hero podcast. Much like our last episode we are still currently at the 2024 National Fraternal Order of Police Wellness Summit in Nashville, Tennessee. And luckily for us tonight, we got a new guest coming on, a special guest that we met earlier today, and really enjoying time with him, and that is Stephen Powers with #Buddy Check. Stephen, how are you, sir?
Doing fine. I appreciate being on today, Travis.
We are super excited about having you on here. Podcasting is kind of new for us. It may be new for you, but we just kind of fake it till we make it, and hopefully get some words out to people that are beneficial. So, we've been here for the last few days now. You've been here too the whole time for the wellness conference. I feel like it's gone pretty good.
Yeah,
a lot of
absolutely.
good information coming out. A lot of new stuff I didn't know about. I got to sit in your presentation today, which was awesome.
Awesome. Appreciate it.
If you guys didn't know, I got some free swag from him, some bracelets, metal ones, some coins. Man, it's been a really good day for me. I'm not gonna lie. It's like a kid opening presents on Christmas.
It's all about the swag.
It's 100% about the swag, and apparently that Heroes needs to step their game up on it because I didn't have any cool stuff like he had. So
it's okay.
It's a learning thing. It's a learning thing,
is.
guys. It really is. So, man, Stephen, tell us a little bit about you, buddy.
Okay. Well, my name is Stephen Powers. I'm the executive director of #Buddy Check. It's a nonprofit that I started back in 2019. Mission statement's pretty simple, just to provide proactive education and connection to national vetted resources for first responders that are struggling with their mental health.
Yeah. So kind of like ours, really. I mean, our mission is very similar. And that was the thing about it. When we met, it was almost like we became best friends right then. It's amazing how we go across the nation and deal with different people and then really being able to connect. And me and Stephen, actually, before the podcast, we went to dinner together and had some okay barbecue. Somebody was trying to say it was like a 10 out of 10, but they lied.
No,
it was like a
7 at best.
Maybe. Mac and cheese was great.
Green beans were
spot
pretty
on,
good. Being
Beef,
a North Carolina boy, that barbecue just wasn't there.
Not the best. But anyways, so with all that being said, it's crazy how we come to stuff like this and then we run into somebody and find out that they're doing the exact same thing we're doing in Arkansas and surrounding, and then you're doing it all the way up in North Carolina.
Yes, sir.
And so we talked a lot about that and kind of shared some ideas, kicked some stuff around that, and I think a great partnership is going to come out of this.
I do too. I absolutely do.
Yeah.
You come to these things, as you said, you do some networking, you get to meet some people, and you just hope that, at least maybe one or two of those connections sort of pays off in some form or fashion to further either your mission or theirs.
Yeah. And I'll tell you, as an organization, when Heroes first started, we reached out to get a lot of help, and luckily we were able to get a lot of good help from some people. But we did have other organizations that were kind of like, no, we're not going to help you. And we're like, oh, that's sad. But, we as Heroes have always been, anybody we can help, we're going to. We don't get paid. This is all free. We do it because we love to do it, and we just want to help people out. And it seems like you're kind of in the same boat.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Again, we started back in 2019, and over the years, I've gotten to meet some good people, and there's at times there's some organizations that don't always have the first responder at the forefront, even though they say they do. It's my hope that. I always joke with everybody that there's more than enough first responders that are struggling out there to go around. You don't have to, be backstabbing. You don't have to, try to keep everything close to the vest. I think some of the best outcomes come from when people are coordinating with each other and collaborating and putting the health of that first responder first and foremost, and then from there those partnerships continue to grow. And it's my hope that the tagline, if I can just touch one person, or I hope I saved one life, it's very powerful, especially when you've done that and you've continued to do that. So it's just important to kind of keep your head in the game and keep in mind why you start these organizations and what your mission statement is, and stay in your lane, and there's no need to, not collaborate with groups.
Yeah. Well, and so hashtag Buddy Check obviously started back in
2019.
So let's rewind the tapes just a little bit. So, because a lot of people always say, well, what did you do before that? What was you doing before hashtag Buddy Check? Me, I was like, before Heroes, I was just still a cop, and stuff like that.
So graduating high school, I went in the United States Marine Corps, because they're better than the Army, as you know, Travis.
What color do you like crayon-wise?
Grape crayon is my favorite. Gotcha. So, went in the Marine Corps.
Colin is going to love that. He's a Marine too, so yeah.
Outstanding, Semper Fi. So, I didn't want to go the college route. Was not for me, obviously, due to having to be 21 to be a law enforcement officer. I had to find something to do with my time. So I joined the Marine Corps when I was 17. I had to have my parents sign so I could go. Got out of the Marine Corps, worked for a sheriff's office up in Maryland, which I'm originally from, worked for them for about 3 years. And then I moved down to North Carolina, and the department I worked for in North Carolina has about 2,000 sworn officers now.
Wow.
So it's a decent-sized department. And, between my Marine Corps time and my time as a police officer, I definitely came across, those traumatic calls that, everybody comes across.
Right.
Nothing in my story is probably different than your story, Travis, or anybody else's for that matter. But unfortunately, I chose some very unhealthy ways to deal with it. Lost some relationships, lost some friends, almost lost my wife a few times because of the poor choices. So I kind of struggled a lot, and I attempted to take my life twice over the years. The first time I sort of, for lack of better words, half-assed trying to get healthy and all that. So it wasn't a full healthy attempt to get clean. And then after the second attempt, that's when I started looking at the larger picture and started trying to figure out, what exactly it was that sort of happened to me. For years I thought something was wrong with me, and come to find out that's not the case.
Nope. And, and I think it's a lot of people, they try to sit there and say, well, there's something wrong with me. That's why I feel this way, and that's why I'm doing what I'm doing or whatever. And that's really not the case. It's not that everybody's different. We deal with traumas differently. The stresses are differently. And, me and you could go the same call and you have a complete different outlook on that call that I had. And there's nothing wrong with that.
And that's what I try to tell people, not to, you don't have to compare traumas. What's traumatic for me might not be traumatic for you.
Right.
If somebody's a father, a kid, a call for service involving a child or an infant may be more impactful on somebody who's a parent than somebody who's not.
Right.
So one thing we sometimes fall victim to is comparing our traumas.
Right.
Thinking, well, I don't have it that bad. John Smith down the road, he was involved in an officer shooting the other day.
Right.
All I did was answer a call for service for a traffic fatality involving an infant.
Right.
Why should I be crying about that?
Right.
So, there's a handful of calls for service that really stick out in my mind. One of them was I was involved in an officer-involved shooting when I had only been on the department about 3 years.
Wow.
And I did not deal with that the way I should have. I did not seek the help out, even though it was offered to me through my department at the time. I just, again, I'm a Marine.
Yeah.
I suck
you don't
it up,
ask for help.
Suck it up, rub some dirt in it, you'll be okay.
Take a salt tablet. Yeah.
Exactly. So, the basic gist of what I'm doing is just trying to get the word out and let people know that, the old tagline, it's okay not to be okay. It truly, truly is okay not to be okay.
Right.
Everybody deals with something a little bit differently, as you said, and that doesn't make anybody stronger or weaker or anything along those lines. It's just individual experiences and how we can, become more resilient to bounce back from those.
Right. So back to the Marine Corps. What was your what do they call it? The Marines? Your
MOS.
Is it MOS?
MOS.
Army's MOS, but I don't.
Yeah, MOS. I was in 0311 infantry.
Infantry.
And then for my first year and a half, I did security forces, which is
Gotcha.
8152. So I was on barracks duty. I had everybody jokes and gives me a hard time. I had a real good duty station. I was stationed in Kaneohe Bay, Hawaii. So it was kind of hard.
You're out there on the beach and sucking in the coconut water.
Yes. Everybody
Hula
joked.
Girls.
Everybody joked with me when I checked in. They gave me a surfboard and some Rastafarian hair or something like that.
Don't hate us, okay? I can't make them assign me anywhere. They put us where they want us, right?
Exactly.
Don't
And
be mad at me.
I still think that's the only reason my wife married me, for
Yeah.
a 3-year honeymoon in Hawaii.
Yeah,
You know,
it's a beautiful place, though.
Joke's on her now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah. Now look at you, baby. Yeah.
28 years later, the joke's on you, babe.
Wow, that's awesome, though. Yeah, I mean, and that's something to think about, and we talk about it a lot on the show, and with different people we go to, is how much the military relates to what we're doing on the streets. Granted, it's different missions in different areas and different, but there's a lot that transitions from, I know for me being overseas in Iraq, that I feel like going to work every day as a cop is similar.
I mean, obviously, anytime you're in a law enforcement agency or first responder in general, it's a paramilitary organization.
Right.
You have your rank structures, you have your SOPs and your directives,
right.
And you have your stated mission for the day. When you were over in Iraq, I'm sure every time you ran a patrol, you had a certain mission, and then your mission in law enforcement is to obviously detect, infractions and crimes in progress, and investigate that to your fullest.
Right.
Well, obviously the tagline, protect and serve as well.
Right. Yeah. And because we deal with a lot of people that, when I first started and came out, I was dealing with like different issues. I was able to call the VA, and the VA would, get me some help and things of that nature. But then now it's like, if you're a police officer, who do you call? And so that's kind of where Hero started. Is that kind of where, hashtag Buddy Check came in? To be a similar resource?
Yeah, back in, 2019 when I started it, COVID was on the horizon.
Right.
There was some, changing in the philosophies of law enforcement culture and across the United States. And I found myself, because of my past 2 attempts, fielding calls from whether it be friends or friends of friends of friends.
Right.
And I found myself thrusted in this role of peer support, but again, trying to catch those first responders before the wheels fall off. There's plenty of treatment centers. There's plenty of post-traumatic incident, places you can go to get your help, whether it's substance use or mental health.
Right.
I like to try to get that individual before those wheels fall off, and before they have it, just let them know that these are some of the things that you may face in your 20, 25, 30-year career.
Right.
It's normal. It's okay not to be okay, and as soon as you start realizing that you're being affected in any certain fashion, that's when you need to reach out for help and not let it accumulate, and that's normally what most of us do. Right.
So so hashtag Buddy Check, now that you guys are kind of pumping along, getting bigger and doing more things, where can people find you at, reach you, get information for whether, and you guys service all over the place, right? So
yes,
it doesn't
absolutely.
really make a difference where you're at, you're going to help out, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Our website is #BuddyCheck.com.
Yeah.
We're on social media.
Is that hashtag spelled out or
hashtag
just
spelled out?
Hashtag? Okay.
Yep. #BuddyCheck, one word, spelled out.com.
Mm-hmm.
We're on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn. So, I always ask people if you have any questions or any of your people might need help, or you yourself need help and you just don't know where to turn to, please call me.
Right.
Call me. And my number is on our website. There's email addresses. You can reach out to me, #BuddyCheck@gmail.com.
Right.
And I will do my best to get you connected with a local resource wherever you're at. I'm not connected to anybody's department, so I'm not going to report back to your chief or your sheriff that, this guy is calling me because he's suicidal or he's debating on, using an illegal substance. Mm-hmm. I am also North Carolina certified peer support specialist, so I'm guided by the law where I cannot talk about it. So, I like to always try to remind people that I am an absolute resource that you can use. Mm-hmm. Please don't let this stuff keep piling up on you to where it starts affecting your personal life and your professional life.
Yeah. I think that was one of the biggest things, when we first started was, everybody was like, well, they're there, but we don't really know if we can trust them. We don't know if we can talk. So, once we kind of broke that wall down, it was like, yeah, guys, we're here for y'all 100%. There's nothing, we're not worried about what your department says. I could care less. You don't have to tell me what department you work for. I really don't care. But, and that's the biggest thing is the confidentiality, because, cops, we're all like super scatterbrained about safety and, worried about this and that. Firemen are a lot. EMS, they're a little on the easier side. They don't mind as much. But, the firemen are founded in tradition and, all that. And they've got to be the man's man. And then the cops are,
absolutely.
If you take my gun, I can't come to work and provide my family kind of thing. So
and that's everybody's number number one fear.
Right. And that's something we talked about in the meetings today was, all the legality stuff where there's several states across the U.S. and, obviously everybody would need to check each state out individually to see what their peer support laws say. But, Arkansas, for one, North Carolina the same way. It's all confidentiality laws.
Absolutely.
And, so depending on where you're at, they can't say nothing even if they wanted to.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
And if they did, it would be them in trouble and not the other way around.
Exactly.
And so there's no reason to be scared to come out and talk.
No. And just like you said, I don't even need to know your name.
Right.
If you want me to try to connect you to some resource locally to where you're at, all I need to know is where you're at. Mm-hmm. And it's as simple as that. And over the years, attending various conferences, seminars, and being able to network people such as meeting you today, I'm able to continue to expand that network. Okay, well, you live in Florida. I have a good guy in Florida that we can call. He's about 3 hours away, but we can call him. And I do that warm handoff. Hey, let's call them together. Right. I'm going to do that handoff, and then I'm going to let you two get at it.
And we're going to a person that's vetted and we know is good to go, and we're not just saying, hey, it's not. It's same with us is we sit there and say, I may not be in North Carolina, but I know a great guy that is. And if you're already up there doing it, there's no reason for me to try to come up there and do something you're already doing.
Correct. And obviously moving forward, I had nobody in Arkansas.
Right.
Until today. And now I do. So and that's what it's all about. Yeah. It's we're not reinventing the wheel. It's nothing earth shattering. It's nothing you have to have, masters in social work or counseling or anything like that. It's literally asking somebody how they're doing, right, and actually caring about the answer, right. And then once you get that answer, walk that journey with them, right. Get them to that next level of care that we always hear that term, right.
Well, and so we always talk about in the episodes, and I asked Bart, the state fraternal order police president that was on the last episode. We kind of like to ask ourselves if we could go back and change anything, do it all over again. Is there anything that you would tell your younger self, whether it be because of your job or anything, or just treatment-wise, or just anything in the world that you could think of that you'd say, I wish I'd have known this when I first started this career to make it better for the next person, Is there anything you can think of? I know it's kind of on the spot.
Yeah. Here's the thing. I believe in it's similar for you. I am where I'm at because of what's happened and the choices I've made. Right. I'm extremely happy where I'm at. I'm not necessarily happy about the journey. Right. The path I took to get here, but I am happy where I am now. Yep. And I couldn't be more happy that I'm helping people, and I'm still putting my mental health, to the forefront as well. Mm-hmm. But, obviously going into it with your eyes open, I had no idea that, starting this 25 plus year career in law enforcement, that I was going to be affected again as the big bad Marine type A personality. You think, everything's good, just rub some dirt in it, get over it, suck it up, buttercup. But I wasn't able to do that after years and years and years of traumatic calls, one after another, plus the baggage that you bring to the job with you. Right. Sometimes we don't talk enough about that, and unfortunately we don't come in to this career with a clean slate. No. Whether you were a victim of a crime early on, whether you as a child you witnessed something, or your parents were victims, chances are there was a calling to this profession that happened while you were a child, and because of that's why we choose this profession. Right. Yeah. Well, man, Steve, I like I said again, I'm glad that we was able to hook up and get some stuff going, and then as moving forward, we want to help you guys out as much as we possibly can. Y'all go out and check out hashtag BuddyCheck online on Facebook, on all the grams and doodads and X's and O's and whatever else is out there. That you guys are on. I'm on X.
Are you on X too? Yeah, formerly known as Twitter. If you guys don't know what that is, but also if you need some kind of resource, whether it be from us or whether from hashtag BuddyCheck, the FOP.net website has an officer wellness tag. You can click on it and check it down. And even if you're not, I know we talked a lot because we're at the FOP conference. This doesn't necessarily mean it's just for the cops. We want to make sure that people understand it's for first responders, military, period. And the FOP is pretty big about that too. Even if you're not a cop, if the FOP can try to help you out, they will.
Absolutely.
They'll get you to those resources and stuff and get you set up with the right people. So don't feel like I can't click on that just because. But, obviously our website has it. Your website has information. You've got national resources set up and all that.
Absolutely.
Copline's here with us today. That's they're an international thing now. And there's just so many good people that we actually ran into this week that I'm really glad we got to show up in Nashville this week and learn stuff. And,
I'm blessed that I was able to come and I had the privilege to talk. So I'm eternally grateful to the FOP Wellness Committee and Sherry Martin.
Oh yeah, absolutely, yeah. Sherry, actually, if I know you guys can't see us obviously, but Sherry, we called her and was like, hey, so we're like a nonprofit in Arkansas, and we're coming to this conference, and we want to know if we can set up some stuff and do podcasting. And she's like, yeah, just do it in the hospitality room. And so that's kind of where we're at. So there's a lot of people here having a good time. Everybody's networking and talking and chatting and stuff, and some are having more fun than others apparently. But
well, that always happens.
Yeah, absolutely. But
it's all about who you know.
Yeah, and if you're a cop out there anywhere and you're not part of the FOP, I highly recommend you getting on the FOP website. You can find out where your local lodge is and become involved, because I'm still kind of new to the FOP world. I've been a member of the FOP for 2 or 3 years now, but I just now started. I'm on a lodge board member now and learning how it all works. And there's a lot of resources out there because the FOP is 100% there to back the officer and help them out in 20 different ways.
Yes, and especially for if for nothing else, legal defense.
Exactly. Yeah. If you don't do anything else with FOP, you have free lawyers anytime you need it. So, but they've got so much more, and they're constantly in legislation and research and stuff like that, trying to do stuff. But, well, guys, we're going to let y'all get back to it. We appreciate y'all listening to Be the Hero podcast. Follow us on all the pages, heroesbehindtheline.com. Go check out hashtag Buddy Check and follow them as well, and give them some kudos and share their information. And you guys stay safe out there. Stay safe out there, and always remember to be the hero.
We would like to thank our guests for being with us today, and a special shout out to all the first responders who rise to the challenges of the job every day. You are our heroes. Please like, follow, and subscribe to our Facebook pages, Heroes Behind the Line and Be the Hero Podcast. If you have an interesting story and would like to be a guest on the show, please reach out to us on Facebook. As always, be the hero and stay safe out there.